And then today it's become very much more sophisticated. So you get these eco-label and fish trade. A guy called Stefano Ponti, he of Danish International Institute for Foreign Studies, he did a nice intensive study on eco-labels. So yeah, in 2000, they decided, well, in 2000, Vali Musa took over as minister. And I thought, oh, nice guy, but he's very much a neoliberal. And I mean, he's in power plants and things right now as well. He says he's going to put a system in that's credible, justifiable, and then we're going to allocate long-term, medium-term, and then long-term rights. Bloody hard. So the system gets designed basically to protect. Big is big and small is not good. So then in The Hague, which is the most wealthy one, coincidentally I'm speaking to old Lou Penzorn, who's the managing director of Sea Harvest, and he says to me, he brushes me off, he says, I'm in London at the moment, I got to go into a meeting with this Marine Stewardship Council thing. And I thought, what? Hello, what the hell's the Marines do there? And there was nothing about it at the time. They got Marine Stewardship on board. Marine Stewardship Council is a development by Unilever, 50% owned by Unilever and 50% owned by the World Wildlife Fund. That's how it started. Unilever are the biggest buyers of frozen fish into the European market, if not the world. And so they pull this move, and then they eventually pull out, and World Wildlife Fund runs it, and then they start this proper independent arm's length Marine Stewardship Council, but the route tells you everything. And so they bring the sophisticated thing of certification of the resource. If only what they are saying is applied, it's the most beautiful way to manage a fishery. If only it was used for its correct purposes. But it is not. So then I'm really stupid, and I was never good at maths. And so now next minute I must go off to UCT and sit there in the Dean of Maths class and hear how they determine the total allowable catch, because my knowledge of the stock comes from, I know all the skippers. And Ahoy Buddy and another beer, and how's the heck looking? Says, Jesus, looking a little bit small. In 2005, 80% of we got Namibia answer, it's one stock. 80% of that stock is juveniles. So what happens, at that time they were pushing the TAC so hard, and there, I think it was 161,000 tonne, and up there 200,000 tonne. So let's just say it was 100,000 tonne. So to catch 100,000 tonne of decent sized fish at 80%, 6 times the amount had to be caught. And so this is all going on. So I told you in 2000 they started talking. So then 2003 Marine Stewardship Council starts really saying, hey, we the dudes, and we're certifying this fishery as well-managed, sustainable fishery. And we love you eco-friendly guys who eat fish, and don't eat that fish. This is the fish you got to eat. Meanwhile, all this is going on. And I go off to the World Wildlife Fund, and they've got this gorgeous honey of a woman that runs the program, and she smiles and she does everything. And I said, but here's some video footage of dumping, where these guys are actually caught dumping. So she's dumping, higher grading, to get bigger sizes of fish. So she says to me, She says to me, dumping is, so the net comes up, so 20% of the big bag that comes up is nice fish, put it there, and throw the rest overboard. Dead. And
But that's also because they can only bring back the big fish, and would all other fish, right? Bring back the big fish.
yeah, and then the bastards, they invented a market for small fish.
Well, you're giving the boat, know that.
What else
But
would you
everybody
do?
said it's cool. It's ridiculous.
Well, everybody's getting money, and where the noise gets made, I could go chill out right now. If I just shut up, I could go lie in the sun anywhere in the world, and they would happily, boy, they'd be relieved if I just go and do that.
He's done all
So old Dr. Butterworth and the chairman of the Marine Stewardship Council's there, an international peer review of scientists, scientific group, the best scientists in the world are all gathered to determine the operational management plans for each fishery. So I said, listen man, you know I'm a dumbass, but am I to understand that the pristine status of a resource, 100%, is when not a single fish has been taken out? Okay, so I said to him, am I to understand that the pristine status of the hake resource right now, here in 2009, according to your calculations and all this big maths, is 8%? So they say, yeah, that's right. So I'm like, "Phew, okay. If it's 8%, and then you've also advised me that you've recalibrated this mathematical model, and you've now determined it's 15%, and I can't argue with that because I don't know how, but I accept it's 15%. Is that right? So I say, no, that's right. And then I say, if we go to the United Nations UNCLOS, Law of the Sea, or Responsible Fishing, they have a nice clause in there that says, when a fishery gets to 20%, whoa, stop fishing. And funny, the old chairman of the Marine Stewardship Council was closing off the meeting, so I said, "Now, can you just do this for me quickly in a nutshell? You're the guy that's telling everyone in the world that this little sticker and logo of yours, that this comes from a well-managed, sustainable fishery." Yes, he said. So I said, but I've now just told you it was 8%, and then it became 15%, and it's over there. How do you... Well, they didn't have an answer. Okay, so now we've had just the recent stock assessments. Now, last week they sat there, all these wizards. I didn't even go because it's just too damn tiring. So what happens there? So I had a heart problem and I nearly died and I was out of the park for a year and a half. So they've had some peace. And so now I actually just want to come up to speed with where they say the stock is. So, and the last that I had was that it was at 15% even in 2010. And at 15%, they still chose to increase it by 10%, below, you know. And it's a shared fishery. Namibia just moved theirs up by 35,000 tonne. But they don't seem to add this into the equation when they're looking at the stock, you know.
The reforestation, the regreening.
If we didn't do anything at all and we just let these buggers carry on now, what do you think is going to happen?
No resources, no more
fish.
No more fish.
Basket.
No more ocean basket.
Can we wipe that out, Gary? Do you think to the point we can knock it? Surely we can't actually...
Look at the lobster.
But we can't kill them all.
No, it's like, no, you can not.
Is it?
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
Like the pearly, my first business, I got a 10-ton pearly quota. I have swum from Luanda to Mozambique, basically, and that's how much I love the sea. And man, there are still so many pearlies in the water. It is phenomenal. In fact, that's another thing that comes to the fore is the poaching of the abalone and the West Coast rock lobster resource, which is very bad now, is a very, very bad issue. But the failure to monitor the bigger fish, we're talking about a couple of $100 million here. What about the billions that are falling out the bucket in the hake fishery? Because you never hear about it. It never comes. But they love to keep the attention. Why? Because they're not really bothered about the perlemoon anymore because they're all out of it. It's broken up into smaller clumps for the guys. They don't. It's a nice thing to attack all the time. The World Wildlife Fund's whinging. SASSI's whinging. Everybody's whinging. Perlemoon bust left, right and center. Front page. When it comes to someone else like Lusitania catching, it just buggers up the whole market. For the poor acre goes and catches snook. So they send the big sandili out there, 72-meter ex-Spanish trawler, and they come alongside quickly. They're just giving the boat a bit of a run there, and they get, I think it was 365 tons of snook bycatch, and they only got 34 ton of hake. So now those guys come alongside with that, and bang goes your Pick and Pay market. All the oakers pulling in his fish. He's getting 10 rand, 12 rand a fish. He's happy. He managed to catch 80 fish today. He's styling. All of a sudden, nobody wants his fish because the fish has been dumped into Pick and Pay and it's going at good prices, you know.